Hey everybody, Rory McDonald from MacDon and Associates coming to you with the next episode of Tuesdays with Rory. I'm very excited. Have a special guest in the studio today who just voted. And we're going to be talking through some interesting topics that are happening in the real estate market right now. But this is April Todd of Century 21.
Yes, Town and Country.
Yeah, give everybody a little bit who you are, what you're all about, and a little intro of yourself.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm April Todd with Century 21 Town and Country. I've been in the business 8 years. I have a husband and 3 beautiful children. All 3 of them are teenagers, so I'm kind of navigating teenage years, if any of you are with me on that. So I'm dealing with that. And I live in Shelby Township, and I love real estate and working with all kinds of different agents and people.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So it's I'll be honest with you, April, it is rare that I end up bringing real estate agents on. I like having conversations with good ones.
Okay.
So I'm glad that you're here.
Yes,
I'm glad that you said yes to me.
Thank you.
So one of the things that we really wanted to jump in today is revolving around, first of all, the market, the way that it is right now is vastly different than what it was like, 6 months ago.
Absolutely.
I mean, you get into 2 years, 3 years, it's completely different than what it was.
Yes.
And one of the big changes that we're noticing in the market is revolving around appraisals. Are you seeing this too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I ran into more appraisal issues than I have just this year than I have in years past.
Yeah.
Sure.
We're seeing the exact same thing over here. And actually, that is where our topic is going. April and I, the reason why this conversation began and the reason why she's sitting down with us today and being on the podcast revolves around an appraisal issue that was solved, I'll say magically, right? By the grace of God, if you will. But we had an issue with an appraisal. Both of us worked together because the reality is, and a lot of people, when it comes to the conversation or the back and forth of a deal, sometimes people are very focused on like, hey, I'm against the seller, or I'm against the buyer, or however.
Right.
Reality is we all want the same thing,
Yes.
right? The seller wants to sell the house, the buyer wants to buy the house. How
we
can
want
we
to
make
get
this?
to the closing table and make sure all of them are happy.
Exactly, which is why it was
Absolutely.
such a privilege to work with you in this deal, because a lot of times, and I'm sure you've noticed this too, you end up doing a lot more legwork often than the other agent.
Yes.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
and I felt like we were both working very hard on this together.
We did, yes.
And I thought that was good. So if you want to, I don't know if you want me to kind of intro into the actual deal, or if you want to do that, but.
You can.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
cool.
fine.
So we had, April had this absolutely gorgeous listing over in Shelby Township. Beautiful home. We had a purchaser that was represented by an agent here, Ty Walker, on our team, brought his client in, showed him the house. He fell in love with it, as he should. It was a beautiful home. We put an offer on that home. And in addition to our offer, and a piece of our offer, was this thing called an appraisal guarantee. And some of you who have purchased homes in the last 24 months, you know what an appraisal guarantee is, but for those of you who purchased 6-7 years ago, you might not. And what an appraisal guarantee is regardless of what the bank says that this home is worth, I will make up the difference if it comes in low to my purchase value. Now, the reason why he felt so confident in making that decision and giving appraisal guarantee is because this house, in comparison to the homes around it, was immaculate.
Yes.
It was beautiful.
Incredible.
Your clients took very good care of that home.
They did.
Yeah, it was a beautiful house. So he felt very comfortable putting this a full appraisal guarantee in. Well, I'll let you pick up with the fun that happened after.
So I wasn't worried about the appraisal at all. Really, I thought it was all going to go good. And then Rory called me and told me that the house appraised, I think it was 100,000 shy.
Yeah.
100,000 shy. So obviously I knew, I did not think that was an appropriate appraisal, and not just because I'm the listing agent. I know more than everybody else. It truly was, in my opinion, an inaccurate appraisal. It just did not depict the value of the home, in my opinion. And I think I'm correct in saying you, Ty, and the buyer did not agree with the appraisal.
Correct. Yeah,
at all.
100%. I mean, when there are houses around you that are selling for more and still don't have the finishes that this home had, yeah, it makes you raise some eyebrows and go, this doesn't make any sense. What do you mean it's not worth this value? $100,000 less?
And
it was crazy. Yeah.
And I think too, what was working against us is some of the values on that particular street. Some of them were lower, but they didn't have nearly as nice of features as mine. But we were still competing with those figures because it was on the same street. But then you went a few streets over, and those were comparable to my listing. But the first appraisal, it's like the appraiser just refused to kind of go outside of the street.
Right.
So that hurt us.
Big time. So
Big time.
What ended up happening is we both look at this appraisal and we go, hey, you look at it, I'll look at it. What are the issues that you're finding? What are the issues that I'm finding? Then let's go back and let's argue this. Let's fight this appraisal, which is exactly what we did. April came up with a couple different listings that she said, hey, here's the ones that I believe you should have taken into consideration, and you didn't, Mr. and Mrs. Appraiser. And I did the exact same thing. And it was funny. A lot of our stuff actually lined up.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is
we're
really
on the
good.
Same page. It
Exactly.
Was nice. Yes.
Exactly. And people who are local too. That's the other thing.
Yes.
Like oftentimes, and what we're seeing right now is people coming in and appraising homes, and they're from the west side of the state or downriver, and they're appraising homes in Macomb Township.
Right.
It just doesn't make
It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
100%. So that happens. We go through the process of fighting this appraisal. And in my career, I have never seen an appraisal, regardless of where it started, the first one was at, I have never seen it come in at full value, which is exactly what it ended up happening. They sent out, I'm skipping a couple steps here, but so we submit the request for them to reevaluate. They tell us, no, we're not reevaluating. That's not happening. Yep, exactly. It gets submitted over to underwriting, and underwriting says, I don't understand the difference between these homes. I'm having a difficult time seeing why this one is $100,000 less than this other comparable. And so they immediately went and said, hey, it would make sense at this point for you to have a second appraisal done.
Yes. And I think too, and I think an important part too is being comfortable speaking to the lender. So I know you had many conversations, I did too, and I found a piece in the appraisal that said the appraiser says that they are within 0 to 25 miles of the subject property, and I thought there's just no way this appraiser has geographical competence in this area with this appraisal. I just knew. So I kind of started researching I kind of was a little.
Let's not go too in depth with that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
but
yeah. So I started figuring out there's no way this is good. It was less than 10% anyway, so they threw the whole appraisal out. Thank
Correct.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the searching of this, you brought this to my attention. She found that the appraiser lived far more than 25 miles away.
An hour.
About
an hour.
Far enough to where if we went to, northern, West Branch, and we're appraising homes in West Branch, I don't know West
You don't know
Branch
the different
homes.
areas that are more sought after than others.
Exactly. So
because we're not from there.
Exactly. So that was the biggest issue that which we presented to the lender. Lender ends up coming back, says, you know what, you're right. Let's have a second appraisal done. Which the amazing thing in this, and I'll die on this hill. It's crazy. Second appraiser comes out, no issues, no problems. The appraisal comes back at full value.
Full value.
So $100,000 difference from where the first appraiser came out. And this is, quite honestly, this is an issue that exists within real estate right now.
It is.
It is happening a lot because these appraisers are so subjective. There's no objective way to really look at these houses and say, this is worth this. Every appraiser is going to come in and say this amount. There's no adjustments needed. Here's what it is, right?
Right.
That's an issue that we're running into quite often as listing agents within Metro Detroit. We're seeing this problem over and over and over again. And it's a privilege in a lot of ways to advocate for our clients in the ways that we do.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like if we wouldn't have communicated the way we did and worked hard on that, I think the deal would have probably died. And then the buyer wouldn't have been happy. My seller wouldn't have been happy. None of us would have been happy.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it worked out the way it did. It took some time and it took a lot of hard work, but it was 100% worth it.
Definitely. It was it was a privilege. Quite honestly, it was a lot of fun working with you. Fun. I'll say fun.
Yeah.
it was hard work. It's like doing
hard work and fun at the end though when it actually worked out because I didn't expect it to come in at the exact value. I was shocked. I knew it would be significantly higher than it was the previous one, but. So that was cool. It was really cool.
Definitely. Again, April, it was really good working with you on that deal. I hope to do another one with you soon.
Same to you. Thank you.
Anybody who's out there listening, I'm sure Your last name is Todd, so I have to pretty much bring this up. But the Todd family who lives up in Armada, related to you, good families of ours, or friends of ours. So anybody who's out there who's looking for an agent who might potentially connect with you more than they connect with me even, how might they get a hold of you?
You can call me at 586-747-8046, or you can just Google search April Todd, real estate agent, and I'll pop up. I'm pretty much the first couple that pop up. So I'm pretty easy to find.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for checking out today's episode of Tuesdays with Rory, where we covered appraisals. We will catch you next time on Tuesdays with Rory, but have a very blessed day. You guys have a good one. See ya.
Have a good day. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. See ya.